Today I want to talk about cost, specifically the cost of purchased items. So it could be that you're purchasing finished goods, or it could be the fact that you're purchasing raw materials. But when you purchase that, you have the cost that you're buying it at, but you may also have overhead cost. Hi, my name is Alicia, and today I want to take a look at the cost sheet with you to show you how you can actually use the cost sheet to calculate your cost for your purchased items so that you can add in that overhead or that burden cost. So to give you a business scenario, or to kind of talk about this from a business application perspective, it could be that you buy an item for 75 cents. But because you may have customs or duties or handling cost, it could be that that item actually costs you $1. So when you purchase that inventory and you put it in and you have it in your inventory, you want it to be valued at that dollar, not 75 cents. Because if you value it at 75 cents and you don't include that overhead cost, then one, you're undervaluing your inventory, but you're also directly impacting your cost of goods sold when you actually sell the item. So what some companies will do is they'll say, okay, I'm going to put this on a spreadsheet. What was my last purchase price? And then they're going to calculate all this burden and overhead, and then they add it to the purchase price, and then that becomes a new standard cost. Well, in theory, that sounds fine until you actually buy the item. If you do your cost that way, then when you buy the item at $1, then you pay 75 cents for it, then you're going to have 25 cents, which is really your overhead, get posted to a purchase price variance. Well, now all of a sudden, when you look at your PPV account, you have tons of money in there, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And it's not because your purchase price changed, it's because the cost has been burdened. So there's actually a function inside of the cost sheet that you can configure so that the system knows that the purchase price is 75 cents, and then you have this additional 25 cents of overhead. Because ideally, you want that 25 cents of overhead to go to like a freight absorption account or an employee payroll absorption account or something of that like that. You don't want it to get posted to PPV, your purchase price variant. Your purchase price variant should truly be the difference from what you paid for it and what you have it so a difference from what your standard cost is without the burden and the amount you paid for it. That's what true PPV is, a purchase price variant. So I want to go inside the system and show you how you can set up the cost sheet to accomplish this. So we're going to go into cost management, and then under indirect cost accounting policy setup, we're going to go into costing sheet. Now I've already got this set up in here, but I do want to show you how to do it because it can be a little bit confusing if you're not familiar with the cost sheet. When you're in the cost sheet, you have these things called nodes, so N-O-D-E, node. And each one, every time you see one of these little arrows, it makes up a node. Okay, so we'll kind of use that terminology going through this. It also matters where your mouse is at when you click new. Because if your mouse is in the wrong place and you click new, you're going to get a different menu option. And sometimes you're like, gee, where did it go? And it's just because your mouse is in the wrong place. So I'm going to click on root, and I'm just going to show you how you would normally create one, and then just to kind of show you the pattern. And then I'll go back and show you the one I set up. So we're going to click new here. What you're going to notice is there's something here called type. So see, it's either cost of goods manufactured or cost of purchase. So again, cost of goods manufacturers is when you do a BOM calculation, a bill of material calculation, or a BOM roll. And then you have cost of purchase. So cost of purchase is what we're going to be looking at today. And there's already one in here. So I'm actually going to delete what I just added so we don't get an error. So under cost of purchase, again, purchase, cost of purchase, cost of purchase. And then down here, I've added this these nodes, or this section here. So I'm telling the system, first off, that I want to include items where the cost group is AKI, which is Alicia's import. Okay, so that's the first thing I did. And this is going to be important in a minute. So you'll see this come into play in just a couple of minutes. Then I had to say, well, what do I want my overhead to be, right? So then I created another node in here for Alicia's freight, and you'll see it's a type cost group. Then we're going to say, so we're kind of building a tree here. And then we say, okay, well, for this cost of freight, how am I going to calculate it? So, and I'll add another one in here so you can see how to do it. So this particular one I did unit based because I said, hey, it's going to be based upon the units. And here it's based upon the quantity. So it can be quantity, weight, or volume. In this case, it's quantity. And in my example, I want it to be 25 cents per unit. So I said per item is yes. And then here in this absorption basis, I had to point it back to this Alicia's import. And this is telling the system that if the item in released products, which we'll look at in just a second, has a cost group of Alicia's import, I want to include it. If it doesn't find a match, it's never going to calculate a cost. Now down here under the rate, I told it that I wanted to, for this particular cost version for this site, for all items, I want 25 cents, okay? And then down here under ledger postings, this is where you would put your absorption accounts. And these really are not absorption accounts. I just picked a freight account. But in real life, it would be an absorption account. So to kind of show you how to add these here, I'm just going to add another one. Again, I'm going to click on Alicia's freight, and I'm going to click new. And then it's going to come up, and it's going to say, do I want to add another cost group? Do I want to add a surcharge or a unit-based? Again, unit-based is like where I'm saying, hey, based upon the unit, I'm going to do something. A surcharge is a percent. So if I did like a percent, like here, I'll do another unit base, but a percent would be a surcharge is a percent, saying, hey, I want to do like 2 cents or 2% on there. So that's what that is for. So here we're going to do, let's do surcharge. We haven't done one of those. So all right, so we're going to call this Alicia surcharge. And then here, we're going to say it's per item. And again, we're going to look at our Alicia's import item here. And when you do surcharge, see it says it's a percent. So in this particular example, I'm going to say that it's for this particular site in that cost version. And I'm going to for all items, but I could do it for an item group or specific item. And then I'm going to say let's just say it's 10%. Oops, okay, I hit a button. Let me get myself back here. All right, so we're going to say that it is, we're going to do T for today. So in this particular example, didn't like my T. Let's see here, today. So because it's a surcharge, it's a percent. So I'm saying I take 10%. Okay, so again, unit-based is an amount, and then a surcharge is a percent. So that's the difference between these. And again, this is going to be in my absorption account. Let's see, I think that's okay. Yeah, I think it just, some information you entered. Let me just delete this. It's not happy with my date. So, oh, no, it's just upset that I haven't done, hold on, let's get rid of this. All right, so let's give it a version. Let's give it a site. We're gonna say that it is 10%. I think there's something funny with the dates in this particular test environment because you can see that defaulted to 2017. So let's just call this absorption account. I don't even know if we have any. Okay, perfect, that works. All right. And one of the things you want to make sure you do, you see this cost is pending. We want to make sure we activate this. And you see it's telling us it's changing the date, so it's all good. All right, so now we're good. So I'm going to duplicate this tab. And so I'm going to right mouse at the top and say duplicate tab. And we're going to go into released products because that's kind of where the magic happens. So product information management. And then release products. And I have an item in here. All right, so here's my imported item. And on this purchase fast tab, we want to make sure that it has a purchase price here. If there's not one here, then we won't pick up the purchase price. And then down here under manage cost, you'll see this AKI. So Alicia's import. that goes back to here. And that's why that's so important. So the systems, when we do this calculation, it's going to read through the cost sheet and it's looking for this AKI and it says, oh, I found a match. I'm going to grab that cost. If it doesn't find it, it's just going to whiz right by it because it doesn't have a match. So you want to make sure that this is here when you do the calculation. So up here under manage cost, we're going to go into item price. We're going to go into pending prices and we're going to say calculate item cost. The system knows that this is a purchase items because in the default order settings, we have it set up to be a purchase item, not a manufactured item. So we're going to give our costing version in our site and we're going to click OK. And now it's going out to the cost sheet and it's saying, okay, first off, what's my cost? 75 cents. And then it's saying, what other costs do I have? So see, now we have $1.10. So if we go up here to view calculation details, we'll be able to see where that came from. So we have our item for 75 cents. We have our unit base for 25 cents and we have a surcharge for 10 cents. And then we have another surcharge that was already in the cost sheet from before for 2%. So you can see over here where that math came from to give us a total of $1.10. So now all we need to do is activate our cost. And we are going to now have our cost out here for $1.10. And I'm just going to duplicate the tab at the top again. And we're going to go do a purchase order. And that way you can see the posting. So I'm going to click new, and I believe I have an item, excuse me, a vendor out here. Perfect, okay. All right, that's fine, I don't really care about the address. And then we have our item. Okay. And we give it our site again. If I had the default site and warehouse set up in the default order settings, those would be there automatically. You'll notice that the price came in at 75 cents, which is correct. Now we're going to click on purchase and save this. Confirm. You'll see this approved will go to confirmed. All right, beautiful. And then we go to receive and then product receipt. We give it a packing slip number. We go to lines, update line, registration, add registration line, confirm registration. It's registered now. And then we're going to click OK. And what we're going to see is that it got posted to those absorption accounts that we have set up on the cost sheet. So if we go to product receipts and vouchers, and if we don't have receipts, vouchers, that's fine. We're going to go into general ledger. And then under periodic, subledger journal is not transferred because I don't want to wait for that batch job to run. And now we'll refresh this. So now what we can see here is we have a PPV of a penny, which is fine. It's probably a rounding kind of thing. See, here's our 2 cents. There's our 8 cents. There's our 25 cents. And there's our 75 cents. And then you can see our inventory value is for $1.10. So again, the next time you want to fully burden your inventory so that way your inventory value is actually accurate, you can go into the cost sheet, set up all your overheads. That way, whenever you do your postings and stuff, it doesn't muddy up or your PPV, your purchase price variant account, and actually gets posted to those absorption accounts. So the next time you want to import product or you want to add overhead, I hope you'll take a look at the cost sheet.